This is really crazy, everyone. Even if we thought we had seen it all in love and hip-hop, Mendeecees and Kirk Frost are no longer just making fun of each other. Someone might not make it through this ordeal. Wait, was Kirk the one who set up the Mendeecees? Was this a mafia-level ambush that was caught on camera? And why are Mendeecees showing up for blood and then suddenly lowering up? The blogs are booming, the streets are talking, and let's just say that nobody is safe, bro. We have got alleged CCTV footage, leaked information, and some terrible receipts that will make you think twice. Grab some popcorn, and let's analyze the chaos, drama, and danger surrounding this love and hip-hop war. Kirk Frost and Mendeecees have been making waves in the love and hip-hop community for all the wrong reasons, but trust me, you weren't prepared for what was about to happen. Kirk Frost will soon be exposed behind the scenes. He is executing desperate power moves, and most importantly, he is going to lose everything. We're talking about backstabbing, private meetings, and secret actions that could drastically change the course of events. Let's take a moment to look back in time. Do any of you know Mendeecees? He has been involved in plenty of scandals, from his court cases to his tragic relationship with Yandy Smith. However, what if I told you that this time he wasn't just settling a dispute at a reunion special or a courtroom? No, this was the real deal. It was life or death. But what about the other side? Kirk Frost, a man whose reputation has been built as a father, businessman, and all-around cool guy, has never been as clean behind the scenes as he wants you to believe. From cheating scandals to questionable business dealings, his skeletons are ready to fall out because, according to sources, he and Mendeecees have been in conflict for months. And trust me, these sources don't play what started as a simple miscommunication turned into a full-fledged conflict, and you won't believe how far it has gone. At first, it seemed like a typical industry beef, possibly a financial dispute or a failed business deal. Some people said he said slap, she said nonsense, but then things changed. Meetings started to take place in private, people started cutting each other off in the middle of sentences, and then came the most shocking revelation of all. Rumors of a covert attack and assault. A well-planned, well-coordinated move with the sole purpose of stealing microphones. Now, I know what you may be thinking, that Kirk wouldn't do that because he isn't that kind of person, but let me remind you that when people's egos are hurt, their reputations are in jeopardy, money is at stake, and people will do anything to get what they want. The craziest part is that Mendeecees foresaw it. He had a gut feeling that Kirk was secretly planning something, and instead of waiting for it to happen, he changed the course of events. Do you remember that CCTV footage that was leaked last week? It turns out that Kirk's people had been following him. After weeks of searching for the ideal moment to attack, that night was the one, but they weren't prepared. Let's break it down. Imagine that Mendeecees is going about his business as usual, but something feels strange. Perhaps it's because he keeps seeing the same car everywhere he goes, or perhaps it's because the people around him seem a little too familiar. In any case, his instincts take over, and just before he gets into his car, all of a sudden, he's rushed by masked men. There is chaos, people are screaming, and when it appears that Mendeecees might not survive, his security team intervenes, a fight breaks out, punches are exchanged, someone pulls a weapon, and before you know it, the entire incident is captured on camera. This is where things get even stranger because, after the video went viral, people began to figure out why those masked men attacked Mendeecees. Word on the street is that they were connected to a big, powerful person who had the ability to make things disappear behind the scenes, and you know whose name kept coming up. Kirk Frost. I don't know about the rest of you, but this doesn't seem like a coincidence to me, and guess what? Mendeecees seemed to feel the same way because the following day exactly, he filed a police report. Trust me, he didn't hold back. He gave the cops everything he had, including names, the video, and even a list of potential witnesses against Kirk. According to sources, that's when the real fireworks started. Kirk had thought that this would just go away, but he was mistaken. You are undoubtedly aware of how this industry functions, so when he made all of this public, it meant that Kirk was officially in the hot seat. However, when a controversy arises, the floodgates open, and believe me when I say that this was just the beginning. Let's just say that it makes the entire situation seem even more hopeless. If you thought that Mendeecees filing that case was the end of it, know that Kirk Frost's situation only got worse. In the midst of a full-blown legal issue, Kirk decided it would be a good idea to take to social media in order to try to clear his name in front of thousands of people. You understand what I mean when I say that sometimes speaking up is the worst thing you can do when you're under this much pressure. Instead of keeping quiet and letting his lawyers handle it, or even just saying something like, "I have no involvement in this," Kirk appeared live on Instagram. I say this was a train wreck because, first of all, Kirk looked stressed. I mean, when he started talking, he was clearly scurrying. I'm not sure where this is coming from, dude. They're trying to paint me as someone I'm not. The problem is that Kirk never strongly denied the accusations. Now, tell me why you wouldn't have responded right away if someone accused you of something that's a lie. When you thought things couldn't get any worse, Kirk's own wife was in the comments. And let's just say that she wasn't supporting her husband in this situation. Kirk was just circling the issue, accusing the blogs, the haters, and the ones who were twisting the truth. Kirk, why do you sound anxious? Someone wrote, "You didn't do it, bro." Another viewer added extra chatter. Since everyone was shocked by her comment instead of supporting Kirk, I warned you that this would catch up with you. Excuse me, but what did it mean? Twitter went crazy, and websites started analyzing everything for heaven's sake. What if your wife was out there suggesting that you've been involved in some shady activities, my guy? That's not a good look. This is where it gets even more bizarre. But Mendeecees wasn't done yet. You see, Mendeecees was very busy while Kirk was out there embarrassing himself on Instagram. He actively participated in the process rather than waiting for events to happen. What happened next was significant because Kirk's last live session was less than 48 hours ago. Let me now set the scene for everyone. This was not a random surveillance clip from across the street, nor was it grainy. Rather, it was crystal clear and of excellent quality, and you know what it showed. Kirk was seen meeting in secret with one of the attackers, masked guys. Do you mean that Kirk was seen sitting at a table involved in? When Kirk got into a heated argument with the same man who was later caught on camera trying to eject Mess just days before the ambush on Mess, the internet went into full detective mode, with people dissecting the video frame by frame and coming up with theories galore. Overall, it was no coincidence that Kirk was speaking to that person, according to sources, and these sources got actual inside information that he's had some serious business dealings in the past. Additionally, we're not talking about the drama of love and hip-hop. No, we're just days before Mendeecees was attacked. Kirk sat down with him to discuss the actual clandestine off-the-record business. Things don't seem good. The pressure was starting to get heavy, and Kirk's command of the story was slipping. Then, just when he thought things couldn't get any worse, the police were called. Yes, exactly. The authorities formally launched an investigation. What happens after the police dig? Well, that's it. The legal team from S came forward and claimed to have more material that they hadn't previously made public. Since the internet wasn't the only source of information, the feds were now watching, and believe me, when you're getting that kind of attention, your hands aren't clean. The problem is that Kirk's hands aren't clean, and the more thoroughly this investigation was carried out, the more dirt started to rise. Say that things might be worse than we thought. So did you find this messy? You haven't seen anything yet, but now pay attention. When federal agents start looking around, you'll know it's real. Up until this point, Kirk had some leeway. He could have written this off as a major misunderstanding or as a simple business meeting. However, after the police stepped in, the door was slammed shut because when law enforcement starts an investigation, you know what happens, and what did they find? Let's just say that Kirk has a history of dirty play. His financial records were pulled, and everything started to fall apart because he had been struggling for years to keep his businesses afloat and was crying over the amount of money he was losing. How does a man suddenly have millions coming in and going out of his account? Someone needs to explain that investigators first looked through his financial records. And guess what they found? Kirk had been sitting on an entire secret bankroll. Not add up, and we're talking about intermittent wire transfers, enigmatic consulting fees, and offshore accounts popping up everywhere. Do you remember the attacks and the magic mask man? Well, Kirk had already paid him, but wait. What right does Kirk have to pay a man who has been linked to illegal activity? That's when the feds really got to work, because this isn't just another reality TV story. This is an FBI criminal investigation. What charges are they looking into? They're serious. Discussing the connection between organized crime and money laundering. Well, Kirk is done. But even worse, Mendeecees had a plan. He had been keeping receipts for years, so you know he knew Kirk had been unclean. He also knew that Kirk was acting shy, so when Kirk crossed the line, Mendeecees pulled the trigger. And that's not even the most ridiculous part of it. When it was revealed that Kirk was being investigated, people started talking because their loved ones in the industry is aware of your personal information, and when Kirk started to show signs of weakness, all of his purported friends left him. At that point, anonymous sources started to emerge, more texts and phone calls were leaked, and Rashida stopped standing up for him. Yes, his wife, you remember her making that questionable comment on his Instagram Live, but that was just the beginning because she quickly left after the police intervened. One minute she was out there telling the media that she didn't know anything. You all understand what that means. She's preparing to defend herself because, let's face it, if your wife no longer believes in you, it's over. Just when Kirk thought things couldn't get any worse, they did, because, as you know, the feds do more than just investigate. They also make arrests. In other words, Kirk's time was up because at precisely 6:45 a.m. on a regular Tuesday morning, they knocked down his doors, conducted a search, obtained search warrants, took all of his laptop and hard drive documents, and before Kirk, slippers were even on, and he was in handcuffs. Yes, they got him. Do you all recall the crazy memes that went viral when the mugshot was leaked online? Rashida is going to pretend that she doesn't even know Kirk, who was caught acting like a mafia boss while playing checkers, but in reality, they weren't the wrong Mendeecees. Now that he's played this clean, he not only won, but he destroyed Kirk's entire career. And Kirk isn't getting over this, darling, because you know the damage the industry does to those who become. The biggest irony is that Kirk is imprisoned in a cold jail cell and Mendeecees is out here winning. If that isn't the greatest plot twist ever, what do you think? What did Kirk do to himself? Was this all part of Mendeecees' grand scheme? More importantly, what will Rashida do next? Let's face it, she won't stay for this disaster. Kirk Frost thought he was invincible, thought he could win the game, and thought he could defraud Mendeecees quickly and maintain his small empire. Now, however, as he faces federal charges, his credibility is destroyed, and Mendeecees is enjoying his drink while watching. This is just the beginning of the drama, so please leave a comment, click the like button, and subscribe. We need answers, everyone. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section right away. I would love to hear which side you support. Oh, and don't assume that this drama is over, because I assure you that this story is far from over. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Kirk's death seemed like the most amazing season finale he's ever seen. The real question, though, is whether Kirk deserved this. Was he finally caught by karma? Did Mendeecees go too far, or what?